So I want you to take a moment and close your eyes and think about the tragedies of the 20th century. Of course, the first thing that comes to mind is probably the Holocaust. Thousands of men and women stuck in chambers, gasping for air in Auschwitz. Then perhaps the rape of Nanking. Women and children lying on the ground in front of the Qinghai River. But did the image come to your mind of Cambodia and the Khmer Rouge regime? In the West, many people have forgotten the pain and atrocities that was wrought by Pol Pot and his men. However, today I'm going to discuss the troubling history of the Khmer Rouge and perhaps the even more troubling impact that this has and still has on the people of Cambodia. But before we begin, we must discuss some of the history. In 1968, the Communist Party, the Khmer Rouge, took over Cambodia. Pol Pot, as the dictator, began to enact genocides on the people of Cambodia, killing, some researchers say, between 1.5 and 2.2 million people. As Kiernan writes in his book, How Pol Pot Came to Power, these men and women were totally wiped out across the country. In 1979, the Vietnamese came in and effectively overthrew Pol Pot's regime, finally releasing the Cambodian people from their captivity. However, even to this day, there are many negative impacts that have made a lasting effect upon the people of Cambodia as well as their culture. The first negative effect that the Khmer Rouge and the communist regime had was the school districts. When the communists came into power, they took out all of the school districts, leaving only a few schools which gave political and communist propaganda. Pol Pot also targeted the educated and wealthy, especially the middle-aged. Because of this, today, that whole generation has been wiped out, meaning that there are none who can teach the younger generations. There was also a corruption that continues to this day in Cambodia. As Brinkley writes, the main method of schooling in Cambodia is now paying teachers to give you good grades. Also, politicians are not willing to help and not willing to build back the school districts, which leads to a continuation of the sex trade in Cambodia. Another issue that the Khmer Rouge enacted upon Cambodia was the defiling of marriage. Now, before the communist regime came to power, marriages were arranged by family members. The parents would pick people who were of equal or better higher socioeconomic status so that they could bring their families upwards. However, when the Khmer Rouge came to power, Huvelin writes that they organized en masse marriage ceremonies. Interestingly, though, they did research to see if these marriages ended in more divorce once the communist regime finally ended. Surprisingly, they did not. Actually, this part of the Khmer Rouge ended up modernizing the Cambodian marriage processes. Now, marriages are no longer arranged by family members, but instead picked by the individuals themselves. These and many more reasons have been lasting effects of the Khmer Rouge regime on Cambodia. However, in Cambodia, this is modern, not ancient history. For many of the West, we don't remember the things that happened in Cambodia. However, as the West, in their fight for social justice, tries to find and solve these solutions, we must not forget about Cambodia. Instead, we must fight to help Cambodia regain its culture and its former success.
Very good.